Okay, so this is chapter 1 review, and we're going to start out by solving this system of equations by elimination. And if you'll look, we've got 5x and 5x. So really, if we just went ahead, there's several ways to do this, but to be consistent with what we were doing, I'm just going to take the top and multiply everything in the top by -1. So that's going to give me -5x plus 10y is equal to -4. And then we've got 5x minus 10y is equal to 5. Well, when we add those together, this is going to cancel out, turn into 0. This is going to turn into 0. And so we've got 0 equals -4 plus 5, which is 1. And this is not true. Okay, and so we talked about what would happen if this happens, and that means, and there was no solution. So if we want to solve this inequality right here, we've got t plus 18 is greater than or equal to 6. We would need to subtract 18 from both sides of the inequality. Then we would have t is greater than or equal to 6, take away 18 is going to be -12. And so we would want to put t is greater than or equal to -12. It's going to be that one. We do have the equal to sign, so that means that we're going to have a bracket instead of the parentheses. The parentheses would indicate that we do not have the equal to part. So we want something that is greater than or equal to -12, which would be shaded in to the right. So on number 3, I'm going to come down here and write this just so I have a little bit more room. 7y minus 2y minus 19 is equal to 59. So we're going to want to distribute that negative or know that this means the opposite of whatever's over here. We're going to want to distribute that. And so we're going to have 7y. This was a positive 2y, and so the opposite would be -2y. And then the opposite of -19 is going to be positive 19. So combine like terms. 7y take away 2y is going to be 5y plus 19 is equal to 59. Subtract 19 from both sides of our equal sign, right? And so we're going to get, carry this over here, we're going to get 5y, the 19's turn into 0, and we've got 59 minus 19, which is going to be 40. Then we're going to want to divide both sides by 5, and so y is going to be equal to 8. So the solution is y equals 8. We could plug, and remember you can always check by plugging in 8 for y and making sure that it equals 59. So I'm going to come over here where I have a little bit more room. And we've got 8 times 4x plus 6 is equal to 11 minus x plus 7. And so we want to use the distributive property first to distribute that 8 to both of these things. 8 times 4 is going to be 32x. 8 times 6 is going to give us 48. Okay, and then we've got 11. And this negative makes everything over here the opposite of what it is. It's like multiplying by -1. So right now x is positive, so this would be a negative x. And 7 is positive, so it's going to be -7. We want to combine like terms. On the left side, there are no like terms to combine. But on the right side, I could do 11 minus 7, which is 4, minus x. Now remember, you want your x's to be on the same side, so I'm going to go ahead and add x. You could choose to subtract 32 as well, but I'm going to add an x to both sides of my equal sign. 32x plus an x is going to be 33x, plus 48 is equal to 4. Now we're going to subtract 48. 4 take away 48 is -44. And then we've got 33x on this side. So we'll divide by 33. And so x would end up being -4/3. And so we're going to get that x is equal to -4/3. If we plugged in 4/3 for each of these x's, we could check to see if both sides were equal to each other, and that would be a way we could check our answer. So this says write in interval notation for the graph. Well, if you look at the graph, you can tell that there is a bracket. It starts at 1 and it goes all the way in this direction forever. So that's going to be 1 to infinity. It could be equal to 1 and then it goes to infinity. So that's going to be a, it's not the parentheses one, it's one with the bracket. Okay, on number 6 it says that it wants us to solve 11y minus 4 is equal to 12 plus 11y. And so we're going to want to subtract 11y on both sides so that we can get the variables on the same side. But when we do that, all the variables cancel out, and we've got -4 is equal to 12, which is not true. So this is one of those that has no solution. Doesn't matter what it is. We can't plug any number in for y that would work. Okay, on number 7, it's asking us if -2 is a solution to this equation. So 5, instead of y, we're going to plug in -2 to see if it works. 5 times -2 is -10, minus 6 is -16, which is not equal to -15, so -2 is not a solution. Okay, we've got 6x plus 5 is equal to -31. We want to subtract 5 from both sides. -31 take away 5 is going to be -36. Divide by 6, and so x is -6. Okay. So I haven't been checking these, but I'm going to show you how to make sure you know how to check on this one. 90 is equal to 10 times 2y plus 3. So we would use the distributive property. So 90 equals 20y, and then 10 times 3 is going to be 30. Go to the side with a variable on it, so get rid of the thing that's not connected to the variable first, and 90 minus 30 is going to give me 60 equals 20y. So we'll divide both sides by 20. And we'll end up with y is equal to 60 divided by 20, which is going to be 3. Okay, now let's go back and check our work this time. Is 90 equal to 10 times 2? Instead of y, we're going to say 3. Order of operations says to do what's in the parentheses first. So 2 times 3 is 6. 6 plus 3 is 9. 9 times 10 is 90. So yes, we checked our work. Okay, it's wanting us to isolate k in this equation. So right now we have c is equal to 1/2 kw. Well, we can get rid of the 1/2 by dividing by 1/2, which means we're going to multiply by the reciprocal, which is 2 over 1. So these are going to cancel. We'll end up with k times w is equal to 2c. You don't really need that 1 on the bottom. Now to get rid of the w, you're just going to divide. The w's cancel out. And we're going to get k is equal to 2c divided by w. Okay. We've got 4/3 z is equal to negative 1/6, and they're wanting us to solve for z. So we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. This means we're basically dividing by 4/3, which means multiplying by the reciprocal. So we're going to flip our fraction. These are going to cancel with each other because they turn into 1. Three will go into 3 one time, and it'll go into 6 2 times. So on this side, we're going to end up with negative 1 over 8. Okay, we've got 5/7 times x plus 2/14 times x is equal to 36 over 14. We can combine these two because they're like terms. They're both just x. So this is going to be 12 over 14x is equal to 36 over 14. We're going to need to multiply by the reciprocal, which is the same thing as dividing, to get rid of this 12 over 14. So x is equal to 36 over 12, which is 3. Okay, number 13 is pretty straightforward. We've just got x's on one side of the equation. All we need to do is add 12 to both sides of our equal sign. Negative 28 plus 12. Let me write this over here so we can see better. Okay, and so that's going to be negative 16 is equal to x. You just want to make sure that negative 16 minus 12 is equal to negative 28 when you check it. It says to solve this by elimination, and so I'm noticing that I already have an x and a negative x, so I don't really need to multiply by anything. I can go ahead and just add these. This is going to be nothing. This is going to be 9y plus 4y, which is 13y. 29 and 10 is going to be 39. divide both sides by 13, so y is going to be 3. To find x, we need to plug that back into one of these. I'm just going to pick the top one. So x plus 9 times 3 is equal to 29. All I did was take the y equals 3 that I found and plug it in for this y. And so x plus 27 is equal to 29. Subtract 27 from both sides, so x is equal to 2. They're going to want you to write it as an ordered pair. X is equal to 2 and y is equal to 3. Okay, they're wanting us to solve this one as well. Both of these are negative and both of these are positive, so we're going to need to, I can look at this and see that I can make this probably be a positive 6 pretty easily. If I multiply negative 3 by by a negative 2, that would make these two terms cancel out. Once again, that's not the only way to do this, but I'm going to take and multiply this by negative 2. That's going to give me negative 8r plus 6s is equal to negative 16. And then on the bottom, I still have 3r minus 6s is equal to negative 9. Okay, so we're going to have negative 5r. These s's are going to cancel out. Negative 16 and negative 9 is going to be negative 25. So that's going to give me r is equal to 5. Now, to find the other term, I'll want to plug in the r equals 5 into one of these two equations. I'm just going to pick the top one. So 4 instead of r, I'm going to put 5 there, minus 3 times s is equal to 8. That's 20. I'm going to subtract 20 from both sides of the equal sign. So negative 3s is equal to 8 minus 20, which is negative 12. Divide by negative 3, so s is equal to 4. So, in most of the time, the solution will be in alphabetical order. So, it's going to be r, s, so 5, 4. Okay, we want to solve 2x plus 5 is less than 23. So this is an inequality. Remember that if you have to multiply or divide by a negative number when you're solving an inequality, you have to change the way that the sign is facing. So we'll see if we need to do that here. Go to the side with the x on it. Get rid of the thing that's not connected to the x first. I'm subtracting 5. 23 take away 5 is going to be 18. Then I'm going to divide by 2. If it had been a negative 2, this sign would need to switch to, instead of being a less than, it would be greater than. But it's a positive 2, so we're going to leave it alone. 18 divided by 2 is going to be 9. So as the solution set is all x's such that x is less than 9. Okay, it says write interval notation for this. So what you need to pay attention to is the fact that there is an equal sign on this one, and there's not an equal sign on this one. So bracket gets an equal sign, the other one would not. So from negative 10 to positive 10. B, negative 12z is equal to 60. We're going to need to divide by negative 12 on both sides of the equal sign. And so z is going to be negative 5. Okay, they want us to solve this by elimination. This is one of the easier ones because I'm noticing I have a positive 5y and a negative 5y, so I actually don't have to multiply by anything. I can just add. This is going to be 11x, 2x, and 9x. Then these are going to go away because they turn into 0. Bring down my equal sign. 9 plus negative 97 is going to be a negative 88. Divide by 11. So x is negative 8. Now I'm going to, so there's the first part of the answer. Now I'm going to need to know what y is, so I want to plug in that negative 8. Wherever I see x, I'm going to pick the top equation. I could have picked the bottom, that would have been fine. So negative 16 plus 5y is equal to 9. Add 16 to both sides of your equal sign, so 5y is equal to 25. And we've got y is equal to 5, so here's our other answer. They're asking us to solve this equation for h, so in the end they want h is equal, so we're going to say p is equal to 5h plus 5v. I'm going to get rid of this 5b and move it over here, so I'm going to subtract it. So p minus 5b is equal to 5 times h. To get rid of the 5, I would divide, and you need to be careful and divide everything on this side. So these 5's cancel out, so we're left with h is equal to p minus 5v over 5. Okay. Kind of bring this down, this inequality down. 2y minus 3 is less than 8y minus 4. So we are going to subtract 2y from both sides of the equal sign. You could have subtracted 8y, that would have been fine. 8y take away 2y is 6y minus 4. Add 4 to both sides, so 1 is equal to 6y. Divide by 6. And I should have let this be an inequality. I'm dividing by a positive 6, so I don't have to switch my sign. So y is greater than 1/6, or I could write it, these two things mean the same thing. The arrow's pointing to the 1/6 on both of them. So the one that we would mark is D. Okay, number 22 says 8x plus 39 is equal to 2x minus 15. I would choose to subtract 2x from both sides. That's going to leave me with 6x plus 39 is equal to negative 15. Subtract 39. And so 6x is equal to negative 54 divided by 6. So x is negative 9. 23. We've got 3y plus 2y is less than or equal to negative 35. We're going to combine like terms. So we've got 5y is less than or equal to negative 35. So y is less than or equal to, we're not dividing by a negative number, so we don't need to flip our sign. If this had been a negative 5, we'd want to flip the sign, make it a greater than or equal to. So it's negative 7. This is going to be D. Write the set x such that x is less than 3 in interval notation. Easiest way to kind of look at that is draw a number line, and at 3, remember we would put this bracket. We're talking about all the things that are less than 3, so we would color in this way. And if you read this from left to right, we would start at negative infinity and go all the way to 3, but not including 3 because it doesn't have the equal sign. So C. And the last problem says to solve negative 17 plus 13x is equal to 13x minus 17. Well, we need to get our variables on the same side, so we're going to subtract 13x from both sides. That's going to leave us negative 17 is equal to negative 17. And this is a true statement. Everything canceled out, but it is a true statement, so it's all real numbers, are infinite solutions. Everything works.